Okay, folks, here we go. This is the Scottish headline statistics for the Scottish house prices, UK house prices as well, out for December 2022 on the 14th of February. Average house price in Scotland is £187,224, which represents an annual price change for property in Scotland at 5.7%. You can see that coming gradually down. The monthly change in the Scottish house price was minus 2.9%. And so let's talk about the economic statement, the what they're actually saying here. The average house prices in Scotland increased by 5.7% in the 12 months to December 2022, increasing slower than average UK house prices of 9.8% and down from 6.2% in the 12 months to November 2022. On a seasonally adjusted basis, the average house prices in Scotland decreased by 2.9%, however, between November and December, compared with the decrease of 2.5% during the same period 12 months ago as well. On a seasonally adjusted basis, average house prices in Scotland decreased by 1.4% between November and December 2022. So comparing the volume of the estimate of the volume of October 2021 against 2022, the volume of transactions decreased by 12.5% in Scotland and increased by 77.3% in the UK. In Scotland, detached houses showed the largest annual percentage change out of all the property types, increasing by 8.8% in the 12 months to December to £343,000. Flats and maisonettes or apartments, or two levels over the upper floor, showed the lowest annual percentage change, which increased by 2.4% in the year to December 2022, an average price of £126,000 overall. The highest annual percentage change was Midlothian, where the average house prices have increased by 12.5% in the 12 months to December to £243,000. The lowest annual percentage change was the City of Aberdeen. No surprise there, where the average house prices have decreased by 4% in the 12 months to December to £139,000. It's actually cheaper to buy in Aberdeen city centre than it is actually in Fife now. But that's because of the oil industry and the change. Annual change over the past 5 years. Let's look at a graph here. Some of the headlines here, as you can see, on these statistics, the average price and everything I've said there. Now, annual graph here, we can see the annual price change over the years, and we can see it going up where the boom happened in the pandemic, and it came down, and it went right up again, and the boom again is coming back down to a stabilization period. But if you look back to 2018, the average prices were only about 2% and consistent up to June 2020. So it's kind of over that anyway. So it's quite surprising that everybody thinks that prices are dropping. It's like, well, they're not dropping as fast as where they were before, and the annual price changes is still a lot more than it was in December 2018. So what do we talk about here? The annual price change by local authority actually is quite interesting as well. So we've got it here. There's Fife right there. You can see £173,968 is the average price in Fife right now for a property versus 12 months ago, which is £165,215. So that was a 5.3% increase in Fife. So generally, over home report value, what you should be expecting now based on this is probably about 5% over current home report value. That's kind of where we are now. Right now, the boom period is over clearly. However, there's still a good supply and demand here in the Fife market in terms of house prices. Quickly, let's jump on to the average prices by region. You can see there the deep red ones are the obviously higher price points overall. As it comes down to the mid-market again, Fife right here in the 170 to 189 band, and you can see down the bottom, I think that's Dumfries and Galloway, maybe down there. I'll just have a wee quick look and see what my chart says. Yeah, that's West Dunbartonshire and yeah, that's West Dunbartonshire, and that's actually that price overall. Now, let's just jump on and talk about sales volumes. This is quite important. And sales volumes in here. How's Fife wearing out against what it was last year? 661 properties actually sold the year before, and we've now got 578 properties. It represents round about 80 properties reduction, which represents, or just do a quick calculation, 80 divided by 661, 12%. 12% year-on-year reduction in the number of properties up for available for sale or listing on the market, which again tells us the trend is actually dropping again. So market is more stabilizing than boom. Just to recap that, what the Office of National Statistics are saying, the amount of time between the sale of property and the registration of this information varies. It typically ranges between 2 weeks and 2 months. But can be longer, and that's why I say it's roughly about the average of 2 months to sell a property, to get an offer on a property. Once you get over the line in the conveyancing, it'll probably take 2 or 3 months to do that. Volume figures for the most recent 2 months are not yet a reliable level for reporting, so they're not included in that report, and hence the reason why we talked about the volume for that was October 2022. They're nervous about releasing information and statistics about sales volumes for periods that they've not got the exact figures for, just in case it comes back to bite them. Okay, so let's just jump back to that chart and see if we've got any more information we want to discuss with you and share with you. This is actually sales volumes overall in Scotland over the last 5 years. This shows us the health of the property market. Now, remember, the housing market shouldn't be judged on the price of a property. It should be the number of transactions being sold. That's the health of the property market. Number of transactions. If it stays stable every year, that means overall the economic situation would be a plus for everybody else, because you have contractors in it do work for you as well. So if the number of properties available for sale drops, the number of businesses that benefit as a result of the house sale, like the decorators and the self-employed contractors and the joiners and the gas engineers and the kitchen fitters and the bathroom fitters, they all benefit as well of doing the refurbishments. So that's why the health of the property market is based, and the economy overall is usually typically based on the number of transactions. So let's look at the transactions now over the past 5 years. As you can see in there, 9,000 every year over the past 5 years. The sales volume 9,000 a month, and then 9,500 almost. Then in the peak 13,000, 10,500, back to around about 9,000. So we're back to about 2018 numbers. And in 2018, the property market was very, very healthy at that time. So that's a big plus point in terms of where we are right now. Just a couple of statistics to finish off. New build properties, you can see there, the property status, the transactions involved for new builds. This is telling you what the average price was for a new build compared to what an existing property, in other words, a resale, they call it, built. And so you can see new builds are a lot more expensive. That's because of the build quality and the standards of build standard they have to comply with now, according rather than actually resale. This is why the council, when they're buying back properties they're buying back properties because they can't afford. They say they can't afford to build social housing. I do say that they can't afford not to build social housing because the long-term benefits for our local economy and for the Scottish economy as well is far outweighs the economic cost of doing it right now. But that falls on deaf ears, unfortunately, and they don't see what I see. So they go for existing resale properties because they're a lot easier to buy and put back into their stock, which for me actually competes against first-time buyers. So the council is actually trying to buy social housing and they're competing against first-time buyers to buy it. Does that know what private landlords were castigated for? I had to say that. Can't keep his tongue. Can't hold my tongue. Anyway, right, let's pop on to the next one and talk about buyer status. This is quite important. First-time buyers, average price they're paying is about 150,000. Former occupiers, 227,000. You can see the monthly change has actually gone down. Annual change in percentage as well has gone, in terms of price, has gone up. So you can see the former owner occupiers are paying a bit more than a first-time buyer are for their property as well. We'll just jump on to the next one. Funding status, cash and mortgage. That's how much people in cash are paying for a property. People with a mortgage are paying more, obviously, because they're leveraging their position with the bank. And that's it, guys. If you want any more information or any information from me or any advice, please feel free to message us direct. I'm happy to talk to you on the phone or something like that, or maybe come out and see you. And it's, our team's the same as well. After all, you don't know what you don't know. It's our job. We do know what you don't know. And it's our job to tell you that and advise you that and consult you with that in the initial consultation that we have with you, as well as valuing your house as well, to give you the right price so you can base decisions in the future based on fact rather than what you think is everyone else's opinion. And that's it. Thanks very much for listening. And until next time, I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties TV. Bye-bye for now.